Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Locker Room 411 show. My name is Brett Quintine, and I am joined by co-founder Steve Weiss, as well as the executive director, and that is Coach Doug Madoski, and they're the two big guys for the HJCAC. But you know what? We are not going to talk so much about the league today because it is all about football. 4 teams are going to be in action. Actually, you know what? All 5 teams are going to bring in ACU as well. They'll play at Sonoran. And you know what, fellas? I'm pumped up to be able to actually talk about the teams, and the kickoff is a few days away. The first team I definitely want to mention is perhaps the furthest team away, and that is the Sonoran Sidewinders. I believe they're down in Tucson. Coach, this is where you put on your league hat and not so much your team hat. Sure. Tell us what you know about the Sidewinders as far as who their head coach is, the facility they're going to play, all of that fun stuff.
Yeah, so I want to start by just agreeing with you. This is a fun time of year. It's exciting. We're excited to get this season really underway, get some conference play going, and that's exciting. As it relates to the Sidewinders, really excited to get them out here for Game 1. Sidewinders are led by head coach HellRaisers. This is Coach Reiser's first year with us in the HJCAC. He comes to us from Minnesota Tech, which is a NJCAA school in Minnesota, obviously. And he's got extensive experience as a coach. We're excited to have him. Put together a competitive roster down there. They play out of Santa Rita High School right there in the heart of Tucson.
Oh, wow. Okay, good.
And they've put together a heck of a team this year, taking on ACU, as you mentioned, this week. And we're excited for what they're doing.
I'll ask, how did you guys get connected with HellRaisers? I mean, obviously, the desert alone is an attraction, that's for sure. We love living here. But at the same time, coming from Minnesota, how did he know about this opportunity?
Yeah, this was an exciting one because it was completely organic. It was a nationally respected coach that was aware of what it was that we were doing, that knew people that we knew, and one thing led to another. We had a great conversation, great interview, and ended up in the position that we are. That's a big step for us and a big advancement from some of the hiring searches that we've done in the past. To have someone of that caliber that was really seeking an opportunity indicated to us that we're really moving the right way with that program, and the Sidewinders are in good hands with Coach Reiser.
That's outstanding. Let's slide over to you. I'm not going to say coach. I'm going to say let's slide over to you, executive director, as we talk about the Salt River Scorpions. Tell us about their head coach and just kind of their history.
So, Salt River, another new head coach in the league this year, but he's not really new to the league this year. That team is led by Coach Davis, Larry Davis, who had been a part of the staff with the Gila River Hawks for the first couple of seasons that we had that team going, and was a part of the Salt River Scorpions last year. So when we were moving forward and some positions opened up, we definitely wanted to reach out and again try to find the best head coaches we could find out there for our specific circumstances and the teams. And Coach Davis came to us highly recommended from within that staff as a leader of men. I mean, I think that was the thing that kept being said over and over again.
And that's something that you spoke about quite a bit in previous episodes.
Yeah, and when he came in and interviewed, I mean, it was by far impressive would be the understatement of the century. I think that, as far as a gentleman who gets it, understands that it really is about the opportunity and creating these opportunities for young people to not just grow better football players, but to grow better human beings. And Coach Davis we're excited about what he's going to do with that team and with that program, and certainly, it's great to see somebody that wants to truly develop people and to see them achieve not just on a football field, but achieve in life. And certainly we used to say all the time that we don't want to form a relationship with somebody for a season or 2 seasons. We want to form relationships for a lifetime. And Coach Davis is certainly the guy that's going to go out and form relationships for a lifetime with his kids.
That's definitely good stuff. Sounds like he is pretty much the perfect fit to lead a team. Where will they play their home games?
South Mountain High School.
Okay.
We're excited to be there this year. Last year, we weren't able to secure their facilities for home games, just with everything that had taken place with COVID and getting back from COVID. But this year, we were able to get that locked down for practices and games. So certainly excited to partner with South Mountain High School and see them roll out.
That's outstanding. Now, definitely good stuff. And we'll slide over to the Papago Pumas. Head coach, facility, just kind of their history.
Yeah. So the Pumas go into this year as the league's defending champions from last year. They return their head coach, Coach Brandon Payne, their assistant head coach, Coach William Struther. Those coaches both return. Prior to being the head coach at Papago, Coach Payne was actually on Coach Madoski's staff. Before that, on the staff at Ottawa University.
Oh, wow. Okay. It is a football family.
It certainly is. Both Coach Payne and Coach Struther played together at New Mexico. New Mexico State? New Mexico.
Lobos.
That they are. So they have history together on the field. And they do a great job putting the team together. If there's anything about those guys, I can tell you that they're going to find quality football players, guys that are going to go out there on the field and play real hard for them, who are going to go do a great job for them. They're at Dobson High School this year. They will host their games out of Dobson, practice over there. They represent that area of town well. And we're excited for them to go out and have a great campaign and look to defend what they did last year.
What I like is, indeed, you guys are all over the valley. We've talked about 3 teams, one in Tucson, one in, we'll say, Central Phoenix, more or less. We've got Mesa, which is a huge stomping ground for football. Now we move over to the East Valley with the Gila River Hawks. Tell us about that squad.
So the Gila River Hawks, they're going to work out of Campo Verde High School, as Steve's alluded to before. Max Ragsdale, when he was there as the head football coach, reached out immediately and wanted to provide support to what it is that we were doing. And they've been a phenomenal partner for the HJCAC. Obviously, Max now has moved into the athletic director's role at Campo Verde High School and has continued to improve our opportunities with Campo Verde High School. They're led with the interim tag taken off them for the first year by Mike Denny. He took over that team last year, I want to say after week 3 or so, and did a great job really building the culture of it and the community aspect of it. Coach Denny was a part of the Chandler High School coaching staff and won all their state championships, and then that rise that has started. And he goes back in this valley for a long time, working with guys like Bernie Buskin and just names that if you've been around Arizona football for a long time, you've heard some of those names as far as just being great football coaches. So Coach Denny's over there and certainly is going to do what he needs to do to get that program up and back to the higher calibers.
And lastly, I will ask both of you guys about the Maricopa Mustangs. They're on the west side. Obviously, you know the squad very, very well. I'll start off with you, Coach. Just tell us a little bit about the Mustangs. We know who the head coach is. We know who the D-line coach is.
Well, the first thing that I do whenever I talk about the Mustangs is I brag about our head coach. In my opinion, we have one of the best junior college head coaches in the country. Coach Madoski's been a junior college head coach for about 17. We're going to, I want to say, his 18th season is this.
Wow. I
make sure to remind him all the time. Just because he's the senior officer of the bunch. But with that said, in that time, he's done a lot of really good things. And so we start there. Our program is based on the idea that we're about placement of players. Our number one priority is to get students to come in and move out with scholarship opportunities. It's something that from the first time I took a position with Coach Madoski all those years ago at Scottsdale Community College, he sat down with me and he said, if you can't understand from day one that the priority is getting scholarships for student athletes above everything, then you're not going to be a fit for the staff. And it was something that resonated with me, something that worked, and it's been something that has driven our teams over the years to be really successful in that aspect. So all of that credit goes toward Coach. And then equally, that expands onto the staff. Coach has done a fantastic job of finding really, really high-end coaches. Our offensive coordinator, Coach Ziegler, has been with Coach for quite a while, and I'm actually going to allow him the opportunity to brag about Coach Ziegler because there's a history there that goes way beyond my history with Coach. Some of the new additions to our staff have been great along the way as well. We have a new offensive line coach this year, fresh to us out of Centennial High School, Coach Comez. Coach Comez, I want to say, was with Centennial for 8 years and went to 6 state championships or something in that time. I mean, there's a real pedigree there for quality West Valley student athletes. Equally, you start to look at other coaches on the staff. Coach Jeremiah McLaurin is our defensive backs coach. He played at Michigan State under Coach Saban, brings a whole new level of credibility there as you deal with our student athletes. Our receivers and tight ends coach, Coach Penniman, was a junior college student athlete that played at Oregon State. Okay. Coach Madoski has gone above and beyond in putting together a staff that represents what the student athletes are that are part of our program. And I think that starts to really set apart what we can do and why we have been successful in moving guys on to the next level at the rate that we have.
Wow, you're pretty good, Coach.
I didn't think he was that good.
Well, the first thing I'll ask is about Coach Ziegler.
So Coach Ziegler, I mean, he and I, we go way back. I want to say that we've been friends. I mean, he played at Scottsdale Community College for a period of time, and played in the AZFL, that adult semi-pro league that they have out here in Arizona. I met him there actually one day. We've worked together not at Scottsdale previously, just in our previous jobs. Worked together, developed a relationship, obviously, where he was a player and I was a coach. Recruited him actually to come play at Scottsdale Community College when I was a position coach over there, and so we've been together for a long period of time. I know when he first got into coaching, he did so back at his alma mater, Moon Valley High School, and then
the Rockets.
After that first year, when I had gotten the head coach job at Scottsdale Community College, he was a guy that I felt like I needed to reach out to right away and hire. So we brought him in that first year. He obviously became our offensive coordinator, and I mean, we've had one of the top offenses in the country under his guidance. I mean, dang near every year we've been there, as far as yards, passing, touchdowns. I mean, it's been a fun ride, certainly. But again, for him, it's about developing players and people. And we've always had a top 5 quarterback in the country, and these are guys that haven't had the great opportunity coming out of high school. It wasn't like they chose Scottsdale because they were passing up on a Division I school. And in a lot of cases, it's been about the talent to work with, teach, and truly mold those student athletes into that position and understanding what that looks like. But it's just done a great job for us. I mean, certainly has been my right-hand guy for a lot of things on a football field.
Are you an offensive-minded coach?
No, I would say that I'm a defensive-minded coach.
Okay.
I've spent 2 years on the offensive side of the ball as a coach in my career. My first one as the offensive line coach, which was miserable for me as a defensive lineman. And then my first year at Mountain Ridge, I called the offense over there and assumed the offensive coordinator role at Mountain Ridge for that first season. But outside of that, I've had Zig with me for him to oversee the offensive aspect of our team.
That's outstanding. Now, you've been in the game a long time, and you have seen a lot of things, but it seems like he truly is he's a great fit. It seems like you guys' staff is put together very, very well, and when you have a great staff, the ultimate product is great kids. Moving on, I know you've got a couple of kids who are going to play, who played their first game already at the D1 level. It is truly about the kids. Before we talk about that D1 scenario, just from each of you guys, I would love to hear just what it means for you guys just to help elevate a kid, even if he doesn't get to the next level for football, but just knowing he's a better man because he was on your sidelines for a couple of years.
Yeah, it took a couple years of being in this junior college specific field, in this junior college niche, to understand that you don't really understand how successful your team was for quite a few years until after they're gone. You don't understand the successes and the strides that you made in helping to develop young people until they develop out of being young people. Mm-hmm. Now as the years have passed and you start getting calls from husbands, fathers, policemen, firemen, doctors, most of the time it's not professional football players. But it's fantastic. It's fantastic stories of great young men who are humble enough and kind enough to say that we had a small part to do with that success along the way. And those are the things that fuel this moving forward. Absolutely, we want to see everyone get a scholarship. We don't promise anyone that they're going to come in and get one. We tell everyone the opportunity's there, and that's all that they're entitled to is the opportunity to go out there and chase one down, and we're gonna fight with them every bit of the way to help get them there. But when you see them come out the other end and not just be students that are figuring it out, but men who have started to really figure it out and take strides in life, that's when you see that's when the payoff comes for this. If you talk about when the payoff is
that makes
at this
sense. Level. I'd imagine you have the same type of sentiment.
Yeah, no question. I mean, I think I've done this, as Steve pointed out, a long time. People have asked me frequently who's the best team, and I think really when you look at the best team, it's not really about the wins and losses. I mean, I've shared with football players since I became a head coach that I'd go 0-10 if we could place 100% of our guys and give them those opportunities to go to college education. But when you do, you look back and you see these young people that have developed into great fathers and great husbands and are in their career of choice and are just contributing to society as a whole in a positive manner. Those are your best teams when it really comes down to it. I think that's really what this game is about for me personally. I mean, I know that I have shared with you before that I believe junior college football saved my life. With that being said, I've shared with our guys that the absolute best bet you'll ever make in life is on yourself. Nobody else is more committed to it. Nobody else wants it, understands where you've been quite like you do. So certainly we're excited about the chance to just keep working with these people, working with these young men and to develop them into, grown men and seeing them take the next steps in their life.
You guys are probably now Jackson State and SMU fans, perhaps a little bit more than you were a couple of years ago. Tell us why.
Well, obviously, so today, obviously, Giovanni Bergman at SMU will take the field against North Texas in a battle at Dallas. We're in Dallas. So obviously he had that opportunity. He was a young man out of Southern Arizona. It was a quarterback, came to us and converted his positions and worked with him and really bought into what we were trying to do. Now, obviously, he's over at SMU getting ready to kick off his, Division I college experience now, so we're excited for him. And then obviously Cole Cousatrone over at Jackson State now, equally getting ready to do the exact same thing at oddly enough around the same time. And it's fun to see these guys when they reach back out to you, when they shoot you that text message. I mean, you're getting ready for your first game of Division I football, and having been the opportunity to play through the HJCAC with the Maricopa Mustangs, and to be, like Steve said, a small part of that success, and to be able to see them go on and do that, certainly you become fans. There's no question.
Absolutely. Well, folks, we are in full swing. It is it's outstanding to be able to talk about games that are happening, games that are being played. That's what it's about. Yes, we love talking about the ins and the outs, but when it comes down to it, it's about promoting the players. It's about promoting just everyone who is part of it. We'll talk all about wins and losses and great plays as the season progresses. But for now, we are signing off on the Locker Room 411. This is the HJCAC.